Hello! Welcome to the Poetry Foundation's Reading for Young People featuring Jillian Tamaki. My name is Alex, and I am the Building and Events Manager at the Poetry Foundation. I use he, him pronouns, and as a visual description, I am a white cis man with black glasses and dark hair. I'm wearing a shirt with black and white swirly patterns on it, and I'm sitting in front of a bookshelf. We would like to begin by recognizing that the Poetry Foundation building is situated on the occupied original homelands of the Council of the Three Fires, the Ojibwe, Potawatomi, and Odawa nations, among other indigenous nations. Indigenous people continue to live here today, and Chicago is home to one of the largest urban indigenous communities in the United States. While we are meeting on a virtual platform, it remains crucial that we recognize the stolen resources and land that enable us to connect tonight. We gather recognizing that some of us are settlers on colonized land, and that this land acknowledgement is one small part of disrupting and dismantling the colonial structures in which we are living. And now a few accessibility notes. To access live captioning, click the CC icon at the bottom of the screen. Alternatively, you can view captions in a separate window by clicking the link that we will put in the chat right now. Additionally, today we have an ASL interpreter with us who we will spotlight throughout the event. If you need any assistance, you can raise your hand and a Poetry Foundation staff member will private message you. Today's event is being recorded and will be posted on poetryfoundation.org/video. However, your mic and camera are not being recorded. We like to set an intention to create a relaxed virtual space together, so feel free to do what you need for your body and mind to be more at ease. If you need to stretch, if you need to go to the bathroom, if you need to eat a snack, if you need to jump up and down, if you need to call a friend, feel free to step away. Take a second now to make yourself 10% more comfortable. And now I'd like to invite our library director, Catherine Litwin, to introduce Jillian Tamaki.
Hello, my name is Catherine, and I am the library director here at the Poetry Foundation. By way of a visual description, I am a white woman with dark curly hair, and I'm sitting here today in an office wearing a blouse that has red, purple, and turquoise stripes, and my pronouns are she, her. Jillian Tamaki currently lives in Toronto, Ontario. She is the author and illustrator of the picture books They Say Blue and Our Little Kitchen. With her cousin, Mariko Tamaki, she co-created the young adult graphic novels Skim and This One Summer, which won a Governor General's Award and a Caldecott Honor. She says that these books are about the very messy, scary, confusing parts of growing up, and we aim to depict them honestly. She's also the author of Super Mutant Magic Academy, a book which collects her web comic about weird mutant emo kids, and Boundless, a collection of short comic stories for adults. Jillian has been a professional artist since 2003, when she graduated from the Alberta College of Art and Design. Her work includes comics, editorial and book illustration, and storyboarding for TV. Since 2019, she has run an independent mentoring program. Jillian's reading will be followed by a live Q&A and a drawing activity. You can submit any questions you have for her using the Q&A button at the bottom of your Zoom screen. Please join me in welcoming Jillian Tamaki.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jillian Tamaki. I'm coming at you from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I'm really flattered that I've been asked to come read my book to you today. My pronouns are she, her, and just to visually describe myself right now, I am wearing a purple tie-dye shirt. It's a shirt my friend made. It's got her drawings on it. And I have a big headset with a mic. Here's my cat. Gretel just walked across the the screen, my gray and white cat. And I have long black hair in a braid, and I'm sitting in my studio, and you can see behind me very messy bookshelves and art on the wall. So I'm going to read to you today my book, Our Little Kitchen, and I am the author and illustrator of this book. That means that I both did the words and drew the pictures. So I did both jobs. Thanks for listening, and I'm going to read my book now, Our Little Kitchen. These are the end papers. They're recipes. And this is sort of like the little part before the book. And I chose to do a recipe that you can actually cook from. This is a vegetable soup. Our Little Kitchen by Jillian Tamaki. Hi. Hello. Every Wednesday, we come together in this little kitchen. Hello. Hello. Our little kitchen, a tiny small place, is just big enough, so squeeze in and make space. Tie on your apron, roll up your sleeves. Pans are out, oven is hot, the kitchen's all ready. Where do we start? Well, let's look around and see what we've got, what we've grown, what we've kept and given and bought. All we need is around us. We just need to look. See how our little garden has grown? Remember how we push seeds into soil one by one? Tomatoes are ripe, I'll pick a few. Look at these zooks, let's use them up too. These carrots, though, still so very small. The lettuce is holy, bugs ate it through. I found some carrots, just a week or two old. Half of a celery, 10 radishes. Oh! Don't know what this is, but it's gotta go. The bakery brought us some day-old loaves. A minute in the oven, maybe two. Ah, soft and warm, good as new. 3 bags of apples, some of them bruised. Cut off the brown bits, they're still good to use. A few sticks of butter, cinnamon, sugar, oats from the cupboard, a sweet apple crumble. Beans from the food bank, 3rd week in a row. But it's what we've got, we'll use them somehow. Bean salad, bean soup, bean tacos, bean stew. I'm out of ideas. What about you? Glug, glug, glug. Our little kitchen's really cooking now. Listen to the delicious music we make. Sizzle, spit. Chop, 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 chop. Sprinkle, pick. Slice, beep. Peel, trim, splash, toss, squish. 15 minutes. Here come the early birds. Grab your favorite seat. How is life treating you? How was your week? Good to see you. New haircut? Nice weather. So right. Fork, knife, and spoon. Now roll it up tight. 10 more minutes. And still so much to do. Behind you, watch out. Salad coming through. Looks like we're having chili again. Those that don't cook don't get to complain. Well, it's not perfect, but it's the best I could do. 2 minutes left. Let's wrap it up, crew. Already? Can't be. Where's the salt? Where's the cheese? Give me 1 minute. Just 1 more sec, please. No, 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 no. Our neighbors are waiting. I mean it. Let's go. Ah. Now this page doesn't have any words, but I invite you to imagine the sounds, maybe clinking of cutlery and laughing and talking about the food and how good it looks. The best sound in the world is slurp. Is your body warm? Is your belly full? One little kitchen can't give us all that we need, but would you like seconds? Delicious as always. A kiss on the cheek. Have a nice evening. See you next week. Okay, time to clean up. The end. Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming to the reading. I think that now I'm going to do a little bit of a drawing exercise, and then that will be followed by Q&A with Noah. So as you could see, maybe some of you are familiar with comic books, comic strips, graphic novels, manga. I know a lot of kids are really into manga these days, which is fantastic. And I use a lot of those elements in our little kitchen, including, let's see, balloons, and for the words, and sometimes there's even pictures and words. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that, and maybe this is something that you would be interested in bringing into your own artwork that you do at home too. So I've got a handy dandy little webcam so we can draw together. Isn't that magical? So yeah, I think a really great place to start with making comics and cartoons are emojis, which are something that we're like all really super familiar with these days on our phone, right? Of course, we all know what happy face is, or, you know, sad face. But there's other ones too, right? Like maybe this yikes face. Or there's additional sort of things like a tear. And so these are a really great place to start telling stories with pictures. Here's one. The little blush symbols, right? So this is like, I think emojis are something that we're all really familiar with, that we can all start drawing really easily and get a really wide range of emotions. So that's a really great place to practice comics, and you can have a storm cloud over their head. Even sometimes you'll see that like rain is like falling on them, right? Another great thing that you can start doing is, these are called word balloons. So you can actually put words in, or if you prefer, or if you haven't quite started writing yet, you can also, and I did this in our little kitchen, I don't know if you remember and you noticed, but you can draw a picture in the balloon too. So you might not know how to write flower yet, but you can draw that flower and you can see that he's talking about flowers, right? So I think that Noah is going to join us for a little drawing exercise. Hi, Noah. So these are called panels. I didn't use panels in our little kitchen, but you'll often see them in, say, comic strips, and they just mean boxes, and they actually don't even need to be boxes. They're just different ways of dividing up the page. So I thought it would be fun today to draw a picture, or sorry, draw a little story. So we'll start here, and I'm actually going to add a balloon just for, here's a different kind of balloon. Maybe you've seen this where you're like yelling, right? So I'm going to start our story today. So Noah, you better watch closely and start thinking about the next panel, because I'm going to ask your opinion, and maybe even if you have any suggestions in the audience for the next panel as I'm drawing, you can put it in the chat. So I'm going to draw a person walking down the street. No, do you have any suggestions as to like any additional to this panel? Any details you'd like to add?
Maybe there's a car in the background.
Oh, a car. That's great. Okay. Here's, I'll also put a little dog. Everybody likes dogs and cats. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people. So here I'm going to put in Noah's car in the background. Right. So there's like, so an indication of a road here, maybe some trees. Here's a little, he's whistling a tune. Okay. Noah, your turn. What should go in the next panel? And it could be in the balloon. I can help you out too if you need some help.
Maybe this person runs into someone.
Oh, cool. Great idea.
Maybe?
I'm going to put this person here. What do you do when you run into somebody? You sort of wave a lot of the time, or especially in COVID times, more waving than maybe like a hug or whatever. I'm going to draw the second person. So this is a really great, fun way to draw with a friend or an adult. This person, what kind of hairstyle should this person have? I wonder. Maybe I'll do like a ponytail. So Noah, what do you think that this person should be saying to the second person?
Howdy.
Howdy. Oh, how do you spell howdy? Howdy. Howdy. Whatever, that's close enough. I should know, I'm from Calgary, which has a lot of like cowboys in it. Because he said howdy, I'm going to put this person on a horse. It's a funny looking horse, but. So that's really where it's fun to sort of collaborate with other people, is you never know what's going to come next, right? And sometimes it's really fun not knowing and then just sort of playing off whatever that other person suggests. I'm going to have this person holding up their dog. Okay, Noah, any or crowd suggestions for the next panel coming up?
I think we need to see even more animals.
More animals. Oh, that's a great idea. I'm gonna have it that the horse is having the last word. And also, you know what I can do? you can add, so you can, when people say the same thing at the same time, they can share a word balloon too. So I'm going to do that. You have the dog, and then you have like a bird flying in, more animals, cat. And what do you think that they should be saying together? They're kind of shouting it. That's what a spiky balloon means, is that they're saying it really, really, really loud. A mouse here. So Noah, you think of what they should be saying. And also you can make it louder by doing more little lines like this. So what should they all be shouting together? Any suggestions from the chat or Noah?
Maybe it could be like a visual, like one of the emojis.
Oh yeah, the emojis. What should it say? It should be maybe like, you know how there's one that is there's like two hearts. I don't know if you've ever seen that, and that's like they're like zooming around each other to show that they're like, it's like you're like exchanging love, right? And it made them feel so good or something like that. So there we have our little story. So that's like a really fun way of like practicing comics and playing with panels and cartooning and all those little cartooning language. So I think I'm gonna now switch back to my camera. Here we go. And I think we just have a few minutes for questions.
Yeah, that was so cute. Thank you, Jillian. Yeah, if you have any questions in the audience, feel free to type them into the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen or put them in the chat. I'm just going to throw in one that we've already gotten. This is from Devanshi. And the question is, what should the creative process be like for illustrations?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think the process can really change. You know, sometimes I know the story that I want to tell, and I sort of have a picture of what I want it to look like, and then I'll for example, I'm making a story right now. It's set in New York, so I have to do all this research as to like what the buildings look like and what the streets look like and all the little details, because I really want it to be about New York. Other times, it can be purely from your imagination, just like the story that we made, and it doesn't need to be set in any specific place. But I think, in terms of all those different kinds of making a picture, it usually starts with a super quick sketch. And you know what, to be honest, even a book like this, that's a finished book, starts out looking very much like this. A little bit of a rougher drawing, and the horse maybe doesn't look so horse-like, but I'm just getting the idea down, because I think that, all pictures and all stories, they need to start with a really good idea. So this is a really great way of drawing very quickly before you get really obsessed with the details. So all illustration that I do always starts with a really rough sketch. It's called a sketch. And then I refine it a little bit more. I change it. Sometimes there's a weak area and I'll change it. And then there's I do multiple sort of I build it up, different versions as it gets a little bit more tighter, a little bit more cleaner. And I find that most illustrations work that way. And that's the process that I like to work. Other people work totally different ways. And it's just a matter of finding what works best for you, like anything else.
And to follow up on that, since you do both the art and the words, wondering how does that happen? Like, do they happen at the same time? Does one come first? Does it change?
Yeah, it really changes. But I find what works for me, for example, I know some people write all the words out first, and they get all the words out, and it's like a script, and then they draw the pictures after. Some people really start with images and then write words to fit the images. I find that I kind of do a combination of the two. I know what kind of story I want to tell. For example, I thought that for this book that the setting of a kitchen is just so wonderful, and food and colors and all these different people. And so I knew I wanted to, here's the cat again. I knew that I wanted to tell that story of a kitchen. And I had this experience of volunteering myself in a kitchen for many years. So that was a story I wanted to tell, but then how to do it, what kind of words. And it took a little time before I sort of hit upon this idea of telling it through dialogue and having multiple people use their voice together and use the balloons and have the sounds like the chopping and all that stuff. So those words came a little bit secondary to knowing what kind of pictures I wanted to draw, because I'm a very visual person. So usually for me, there's pictures, or what kind of pictures I want to make are the first step.
Beautiful. Thanks for sharing more details about that specific book. And one last question. Do you have any advice that you would like to give to young poets or growing illustrators?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that really, really helps me, I wish I had one, I don't have it near me, but a sketchbook, keeping a sketchbook. And you know what? That sketchbook can be super messy. Not everything in the sketchbook needs to be polished or perfect. In fact, it should be messy. There should be mistakes in it. I think that I always have the visual of getting your hands dirty, trying things out, because sometimes we're so tense. We want our artwork to be so good, whether that's poetry, drawing, writing. We want it to be so good. And it's really, really scary, because when we're starting out or you're starting a new project, that it's much better in your mind. And then once you start putting it out, it's not as perfect as we imagine it to be. So I feel like it's a really good practice to just draw every day, or as much as you can, and not worry about everything being perfect, and just building up those muscles. I almost think of it as a muscle, to be able to draw and try to take the ideas that are in our mind and put them on the paper, and be really kind to ourselves when sometimes it doesn't look exactly like it does in our mind. But that's why I always like working in a sketchbook, because I feel like it's better to get those juices flowing than sitting there with a blank page trying to make a perfect piece of artwork. So I'm a big fan of the sketchbook.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jillian. And a big thank you as well to everyone who came out to this morning's reading for young people. Check out our website, poetryfoundation.org/events, for some future virtual events and library programming. And if you can take just a minute to fill out a feedback form, we are open to feedback about our programming. Thank you all again so much. Thank you to our ASL interpreters and our captioner. Have a really good day. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for having me. Cat says bye.